Nestled in the Indian Ocean, the Maldives is renowned for its breathtaking beauty. An intricate tapestry of more than 24 atolls where turquoise waters lap against pristine white beaches. Its vibrant marine life, lush greenery and serene lagoons epitomize paradise. But this idyllic sanctuary faces an existential threat: climate change. Rising sea levels driven by global warming threaten to submerge these low-lying islands, endangering not only the nation's biodiversity, but also the homes of its inhabitants. Coral reefs are often hailed as the rainforests of the sea. These bustling underwater cities are where countless marine creatures live. But these reefs are the frontline casualties of warming waters, making them a must-see first stop for me. For a brief moment, time stood still as I floated above this aquatic paradise, where schools of colourful fish dart playfully around intricate coral formations.
After snorkeling for just about an hour at one of these house reefs here in Maldives, I'm amazed by the marine life beneath the surface. And it's quite sad that all of these beautiful creatures are threatened by the impacts of climate change.
Once thriving coral colonies are now slowly showing signs of bleaching, a phenomenon caused by the rapidly warming waters. Sea surface temperatures in the Indian Ocean have risen 50% faster than the global average over the past 50 years. Under thermal stress, corals expel algae, losing their primary source of food and colour, a path to their decline.
Coral reefs, they actually only cover 1% of the seabed, but they're home to 33% of all fish species, and 25% of juveniles of all animals live in the coral reefs to grow up. They're protected there from predators, so the coral reefs are really important to help keep the ecosystem in the ocean healthy. And this year we're already seeing signs of bleaching, and we're not even at the hottest period yet. So if it continues for a long time, then lots of corals are going to die this summer.
The declining health of these corals triggers a ripple effect. As their habitat degrades, the fish population slowly decreases, posing a significant threat to the livelihoods of many in the archipelago, where fishing is pivotal to the local economy. 42-year-old fisherman Ahmed Ashvam lives what he calls the perfect Maldivian life. Every morning he heads out on his boat, relying on the ocean's bounty to support his family. But Ashvam's daily excursions have become increasingly challenging over the years.
Now in the olden days, maybe 10 years ago, during the season changes, everybody would go out to the reef edges where they can get good number of fishes, but now it's been affected. We don't see that much number of fishes, and also we see change in the size of the fishes. That is definitely something which we notice due to the climate change.
Rising sea temperatures also disrupt the natural migration patterns of fish, pushing them into cooler, deeper waters. This means fishermen have to venture out much further than before. The once reliable rhythms of the sea and sky have also become unpredictable due to climate change. Storms are more frequent and intense. And these fishermen, who once read the weather like an open book, now face chapters of turbulence and unpredictability.
Now the fishermen spend a lot of time out at sea. They spend about a week minimum out at sea. Fishermen move to where there is fish. In the Maldives, throughout the year, fishing, especially skipjack fishing, is good in the south. So the fishermen from the north will also be travel into the south, and it's quite a long distance. So if sea is rough, if the weather is bad, then that will definitely have problems them returning back to the base or to their home island.
Despite these challenges, the Maldivian fishermen remain resilient.
There's nothing much we can do actually. We can just go out and try every day. And when we are trying every day, the changes we see slowly, we adapt to it.
In the face of climate change, these guardians of the sea have learned to embrace sustainable fishing practices while relying on technology to chart a new course forward. Scientists and locals are also working together, seeking ways to protect and restore these vital coral reefs by turning blank canvases into marine masterpieces teeming with life. But the journey ahead is far from smooth. The Maldives is at a crossroad. In a world where development and economic growth are essential, the challenge lies in achieving the delicate balance between progress and preservation. Can the Maldives forge ahead while safeguarding its environment? Finding this balance becomes not just a question, but a responsibility. Welcome to Male, the beating heart of the Maldives. The bustling capital, home to about 200,000 people, is cradled on just over 8.3 square kilometers of land, making it one of the most densely populated cities on Earth. On my way there, I wondered if climate change affects the city as much as it does the remote islands. Locals tell me frequent flooding and coastal erosion are two of the many threats they face. Male, alongside the 1,200 islands in the Maldives, is at the mercy of rising tides. The entire country sits barely 1.5 meters above sea level, and scientists have issued a stark warning. Without action, 80% of the Maldives could be underwater by 2050. And by 2100, this paradise could be wiped off the map. The Maldives is already grappling with the effects of erratic weather. Thunderstorms and cyclones are more powerful, resulting in larger sea swells and tidal surges, which inflict considerable damage. And flash floods, once confined to the monsoon season, now pose a year-round threat. And so Male is tasked with a dual challenge: navigating its swift urban expansion while combating the looming menace of rising sea levels.
And when you go to an island and you ask them, where were you 10 years ago? They would always tell you that the shores were further down. The message is that the erosion is the foundational issue. It's slow, it's steady, but it's certain. Just the sea swell would create havoc for us. It might be like what happened with the tsunamis.
The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami claimed almost 100 lives in the Maldives and left nearly 30,000 people homeless. Waves as high as 5 meters caused widespread destruction. The disaster highlighted the urgent need for innovative measures to protect the coasts. Barriers and seawalls were erected as fortresses along the capital's coastlines. And new islands were built higher to safeguard against future threats.
So the government then decided 20 years ago that it's high time that we start to have a new island with better facilities and with better adaptation provided. So this island, the Hulumale, was developed, reclaimed and at a height of 2 meters above sea level. that means that we get to protect the land from high tidal waves at that time. And then it was a better planned island with better proper roads, schools, hospitals.
This artificial island, which spans an area of 4 square kilometers, is not just an expansion of space, but an attempt to alleviate congestion in the capital.
And now we're here in Hulu Malé and in central Malé, the capital of Maldives. It's very different from the rest of the atolls and the resort islands all across this archipelago. But with development comes a lot of challenges.
Well, the thing is, land is a very rare commodity in the Maldives. We're trying to balance between sustainable development and also providing basic necessities for our citizens. So if you look at the flats over here, the social housing flats, we had to rise up our buildings so that we can create more space for our citizens. Unfortunately, this is not the most ideal situation, especially for a low-rising country like the Maldives. Many have migrated into the central region of the Maldives to get better access to education, better access to healthcare. So I would think that we are in a very tricky situation. The Maldives emits less than 0.01% of carbon emissions into the world, yet we are experiencing the most impacts of climate change.
But efforts to accommodate the growing population and denser urban areas raise critical environmental concerns.
So now we are very environmentally conscious, so every time we build better. So there is more stringent building codes, and we are every day getting ready for future impacts of climate change and to have adapt ourselves in every way.
Waste management has also surfaced as another pressing environmental issue that Malé has to address.
It comes from urbanization. The country is trying to do well with single-use plastics, but it's engulfed with environmental issues, sanitation issue.
Pali, an NGO in the Maldives, is leading the charge to tackle plastic pollution by leveraging an extensive network across the islands. This initiative involves local councils, resorts and fishermen who help collect plastic waste from both land and sea. The waste is then ferried to Malé with the help of boat operators and sent to this centre for processing.
Now, each block consists of about 200 to 250 kilograms of compacted plastic bottles. Now, this meticulous process not only reduces the total volume of plastic waste, but it also makes it easier to transport. Now, all of these blocks will be shipped to recycling facilities in Germany and Taiwan, where they will be given a new lease of life.
All the products are with geolocation.
The NGO also works with local communities to raise more awareness about the different types of plastic waste and their threats to the ocean.
We want to engage the civil society to be a part of our collaborative network, so that they can actually lead their island community to become, champions in interception, avoiding plastics and bad materials, and redesigning their community.
From bustling city streets to tranquil shores, every corner echoes the call for environmental stewardship. But despite all the challenges Malé faces, there is a glimmer of hope in the collective effort and groundbreaking innovations. Tourism is the lifeblood of the Maldives. The islands attract visitors from all corners of the globe. In 2023, nearly 2 million tourists arrived, staying at more than 170 resorts scattered all across the archipelago. These destinations are more than just vacation spots. They're the backbone of the local economy, creating jobs and supporting communities. As the impact of climate change grows, they have now become the defenders of their environment. I left the bustling cityscape of Malé for one of these island havens. A short seaplane ride later, I arrived at this resort, located some 246 kilometers north of Malé. I was received with open arms, a warm welcome that's become a signature of Maldivian hospitality. Strolling around, I saw how the resort blends seamlessly with the island's untouched nature, where native plants thrive in abundance. And as I explored further, I came across this lush oasis.
So Juby, can you tell us what sort of vegetables are grown here at the greenhouse?
Yeah, so inside this greenhouse we grow different kinds of lettuce, herbs and vegetables. So we have 6 different kinds of lettuce, 6 different kinds of herbs and vegetables like bok choy, water spinach and the Indian spinach as well. Yeah.
This hydroponic greenhouse does not just fill plates with fresh organic produce. It also cuts down on food imports, slashing carbon emissions from transport. But that's not all.
Having this greenhouse, like we harvest the rainwater as well. So when it rains over this structure, there is tanks which collect the rainwater. So 30,000 liters of rainwater we harvest and that we use in this process. And in hydroponic system, the minimal amount of water is being used, like other water keep on circulating and goes back to the tank and comes back. So it's a very helpful to save the water as well.
From saving water to saving energy. Remote islands that once relied solely on the steady hum of diesel generators are now turning to the quiet power of the sun. This resort boasts a 480 kilowatt solar panel system, equipped with 2,000 panels, the largest installation of its kind in the country.
With help of solar panel, actually, we can reduce our dependency on the diesel generator. At the moment, for example, we are producing about 51% from the solar and only 50% from diesel generator. In terms of cost saving, actually, we are saving about 200,000 liters of diesel every year, and it's about 190,000 US dollar.
Realistically, in the long run, how long will it take for this resort to be powered just entirely on solar energy?
For that, it might take another 5 to 10 years to get all the resort to be powered by the solar, because the biggest challenge in this resort is actually the space to keep the solar panel.
But it's not just about improving infrastructure. Resorts across the Maldives know it's equally important to reshape mindsets. Back in Malé, 27-year-old environmentalist Fatima is also working to raise awareness among locals.
Very few Maldivians are actually talking about it. So policymakers need to build a capacity as well as give a vocal or give power to youths who are currently advocating for climate, because youth has so much power to make changes in international platforms as well. But because of the other major countries emitting such harmful gases into the atmosphere, we are the people who are facing most difficulty. We are sinking and we are in dire need of assistance.
Addressing leaders at the COP28 UN Climate Change Conference in Dubai last year, Maldives President Muhammad Muizzu voiced his frustration with the lack of real progress. He made it clear that his country cannot just watch as climate change wreaks havoc.
We've been repeating this message every year, yet we are still far from reaching this goal. We need new, adequate and predictable finance for ambitious climate action with priority for adaptation.
The Maldives want developed countries to play their part.
And I think it's a moral obligation that they created the mess, and then we are at the receiving end, and we should be assisted, So that's morally right to do that, And even the multilateral donor countries, multilateral funds are there. Some are very slow, after we apply for funding for a certain project, it might take 2-3 years to realize, So I think this needs to be, this process of accessing to the funds needs to be faster.
The challenges confronting the Maldives today extend far beyond its shores. They are emblematic of a global struggle that transcends borders and oceans. A testament to the fact that the battle against climate change is not won in isolation.